Greetings and salutations, my fellow creatures of the night. What beautiful music you make. In our comments section and when you like the video.
That was surprisingly high effort right there.
Thanks, I came up with it literally as I was talking.
White wrote a book. It's available in the comments section.
I wrote a whole shit ton of them. They're all available, but there is a new one you could buy, and that would make me very happy.
There's a Patreon. You could be cool, like Rob and a guy from Ohio.
Who are both very cool.
And recently...
Today.
In fact.
Yeah.
White Raven became someone who can make money on Twitch.tv. So if you listen to this podcast, have Amazon Prime, and don't use Twitch, let me make you a pitch to briefly go to Twitch. Set your Prime sub to renew to White Raven. Costs you nothing, and takes money out of Jeff Bezos' pocket, and gives it to White Raven.
I love those Bezos bucks. Gimme.
But today, we are here to talk about, well, a lot of shit, really.
Yeah. The long and short of it is that we ate up all of our grace time on podcasts. And there's been a lot of, half ideas we've had.
Where we haven't had enough of an idea to make a whole podcast happen because of it. So we're going to throw them all into a big bucket and see how much we get through in 30 minutes.
Yes. Let's go with what's recent on the tip of our tongues, and that's DC Fandome 2021 first. Not a lot to talk about, not a lot to delve real deep into, especially given who we are as a person. As a person, we're the same person.
We are the dreaded Turla.
We are the dreaded Turla. Boy? I don't like it. Bite? I don't like that either.
Bite Raven? No, I don't like that. You know what?
Not Boy Raven either.
Boy Raven! That is a different character, and I do not like him.
Speaking of the Boy Raven, we got a new trailer for the... what the hell's the name of the game with the Bat Kids?
Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights. And they're doing Court of Owls shit. Cool.
Court of Owls is something that is a really, really good concept, and almost nowhere have I ever seen it, aside from the very first time it was introduced, done well or effectively. Usually it's tied up in Damian Wayne bullshit, and I do not like Damian Wayne on account of his personality. So
I don't think they're gonna do great stuff with it here, but I am excited that we're getting villains that aren't the same Batman villains always forever. As much as
it's one of the things I love about the Court of Owls is that they're new.
Yeah, and as much as I didn't like playing the car sections of Arkham Knight and thus stopped playing Arkham Knight, I was so happy that we had people like Professor Pig in there to just change things up a little bit.
It's always good because look, real talk. Bruce Wayne has a very deep roster of villains. He's got some real fucking weirdos in there. And hey, with Plague Doctors being so in the moment pop culture, maybe Merrymaker will make an appearance.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
But the Gotham Knights series is clearly the spiritual successor to the Arkham games, although it's not taking place in the same universe as I understand it. It looks like it has very similar gameplay, only Batman is no more. He's tired and old in terms of a concept. In universe, I believe he's dead, although they don't explicitly say that. They just say he's gone. And the trailers and gameplay I've seen so far looks fun. I'm strangely not excited for it, which is weird for me.
At this point, hype is a weird thing for me. I don't get very hype about a lot of stuff anymore, and I know part of that is because, certain franchises, be they games or movies or whatever, are either so far off, like your Elder Scrolls and your next BioWare games, or so expected, like the MCU, that I'm not, tripping over my dick to throw a party for myself here.
Yeah, it's hard to get hyped for the next MCU movie because they're just going to continue until they stop making money or the universe dies heat death.
And I'm glad about it. I'm happy.
Oh, same. I'm going to go see them all.
I've hit a floor of contentment. And
oh, good. Another one.
Yes.
I'll go pay money to see it. Wonderful. Thanks.
You know about the amount of excitement you get when you order pizza because, God damn it, you get to eat another pizza.
And, it's not like you've never eaten a pizza before. but it looks like pizza, and it tastes like pizza, and it's pizza, so, I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
It's not bad pizza, it's good pizza. That's Eternals.
Yeah. Eternals is kind of a weird-looking pizza, but I'll eat it.
Yeah.
One of those California style. This is a lump of dough I've
With
cooked
like
and
broccoli and like the white sauce.
There's one of those big brown bubbles
that they love.
They love those. Also out of Fandome, we got another story trailer for Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. I'd love to see some gameplay, but I do think the writing is pretty good so far.
That's basically what I'm waiting on at this point is gameplay. Yeah. It looks like Brainiac, with a very similar aesthetic to the Injustice games Brainiac, has taken over all of the Justice League except Wonder Woman, if I had to make my guess. And the Task Force X and Wonder Woman have to kill the Justice League. I imagine Wonder Woman isn't taken over because, one, she's cool, and two, someone has to fight Superman, and it's not going to be King Shark.
There was also the teaser for Black Adam. What did you think about that teaser, man?
I think it was short. I think I'm so happy for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson because he has been trying to get fucking Black Adam made for a decade and a half.
Y'all know for 30 years, I, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, have been trying to become Black Adam. The day is finally here where I can kind of show you me as Black Adam. Kind of.
Like, for a bit, it's in post-production. He says that in the little pre-trailer, meaning, this is the only scene we have done, please let me have this. And it's cool, it's a cool scene. Black Adam is risen from whatever hole, stasis he was in, and he murders the fuck out of a guy, turns him into a skeleton with Black Adam lightning. That's cool. Basically, I don't know enough about this movie to care.
Yeah.
Look, there's like 19 versions of Black Adam it could be. Almost all modern versions of Black Adam are Tethadam. So I trust them to do that. But
we get Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, and he looks fucking awesome.
God, he's perfect casting.
Yeah.
That is MCU tier perfect casting, by the way. Like, you don't see that often from DC. Normally it's, really? That's what you want? You want Ben Affleck? Or, really? Ezra Miller. We're doing Ezra Miller. That's the call? And they don't think they do a bad job. It's just, that's a choice you've made. Whereas, in this case, no, that's perfect. He's Dr. Fate. That's perfect.
So let's turn this into one of those compliment sandwiches. The Flash movie.
Boy, do I not care about Flashpoint. You've heard me say it many times if you're a regular listener. I don't like Flashpoint. Don't like it don't like what it does to the DC universe. Don't like the storytelling. Generally don't like how OP the Flash is. And the universe in Flashpoint is not to my taste, to say the least, with the one exception being Thomas Wayne. Movie trailer still looks okay.
Yeah.
Look, if it's gonna be Flashpoint, I'm never gonna like it. So, I'm taking what I can get, and I recognize the silhouette of the Batmobile, the one from the movies, and the fucking animated series, the one from my childhood.
All right, let's go to the other end of that sandwich. At least with my personal compliment, I really like the casting in the Batman. Zoe Kravitz, I believe, is playing Catwoman. Wow, she looks perfect.
I like what I see so far.
Yeah.
I want to see her in the costume.
With the ears and all?
I want to see, because they bitched out. Anne Hathaway bitched out and didn't ever put the fucking ears on. She had like a little Wi-Fi dish that kind of, if you squinted, no. Wear the fucking costume. It's a comic book movie. If Batman can wear the costume, so can you.
I mean, Penguin looks like Penguin, man.
I would not have recognized that actor.
No.
That was like, because I saw him when hey, I'm the Penguin over here, and he's been British for so long. In other adaptations, he's been British for so long that
I'm fucking waddling over here.
that I can't. I like, it was weird for a second. I was like, oh, is that like a Falcone? No, it's the Penguin. How? That's not the. That is.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exciting.
He disappears into that role.
Yeah.
But I think the casting is really good. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for what I see so far. I'm not gonna get my hopes up for their version of the Riddler. I like a goofy Riddler. I genuinely do. I think Edward Nygma should be at least a little pathetic. And he seems like he's Jigsaw in this, which is cool, and I think I can like it. But it's not Not what I'm here for.
We've never really gotten a cinematic version of your favorite kind of the Riddler, and that's too bad.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Carrey was, to be fair, a little further than I like to see.
Yeah.
he was too cartoony. Like, my favorite Riddler is the one from the animated series. He's a smarmy pencil dick.
So speaking of animated series, we're getting a new animated Batman series on HBO Max, or whatever the fuck they call it now. That is set like 40s aesthetic, like noir Batman, involving Bruce Timm.
So look for him to be dating Barbara Gordon inside season 2.
But they were using, like, the one still I saw was the Big Ears original Batman.
Like, there are so many animated versions of Batman. A new series is good. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Look, very rarely do they not do something interesting with a new Batman animated series. Brave and the Bold made some bold choices. Not always good ones. Fucking The Batman made some bold choices. Not always good ones. I think, like, Beware the Batman is the only one I ever saw that was just kind of shit.
Brave and the Bold has my second favorite Batman. So
Diedrich Bader is fucking great.
Yeah, I love him as Batman.
He's great. The Hammer of Justice is unisex.
Was there anything else out of Fandome that we really felt like talking about?
Nothing that I saw that like really blew my skirt up.
Yeah.
The new Shazam thing, I didn't see the first one. So was it good? Did it look like it was?
Yeah, it was fun. It was tonally speaking about Ant-Man equivalent.
But like the bit for the new one, does it seem like it carries forward the
Yeah,
vibe?
I'm excited to see it. I think they were playing it up a little bit in terms of like how this is going to be fucking awesome. I think that might be too far. Maybe tone it back. Maybe just be like, this is going to be a good time. You guys ready to have a good time? Because we're going to.
You guys, you think maybe they're overselling it?
Just in terms of like the intensity. Like it ain't like that, Chief. We don't do that here.
Not really. Not so much. I think DC Fandome is interesting. There were some interesting trailers.
A lot of talk about comics, and we don't really review comics here, so.
Yeah, I care about comics, as
Yes.
you may well have been able to determine, but like that's not really what the podcast is about. So what's next?
I said the most recent thing, and that's not even true. This morning, the image y'all are staring at, if you're looking at the thumbnail as we talk, Rob Zombie tweeted out the first 3 members of his cast for his Munsters movie.
One was called pretty much the second it was announced that he
Sure.
was doing the Munsters.
Sure.
And anyone who is surprised by it, I'm just going to assume you have never seen a Rob Zombie movie at this point.
There were people in the comments, because I saw it on Instagram, there were people in the comments of the post that were like, man, I can't believe you cast Sherry as Lily Munster. Oh, it's going to ruin everything. I can't believe you did that. And like, first of all, how rude. Secondly, how were you not already prepared for this?
Like, how are you disappointed? How are you surprised enough to be disappointed now? You had to have known that was going to happen. Of course he was going to cast Sherry as Lily, was it Lily Moon?
Lily Munster.
Lily Munster. I didn't know if she had a middle name.
Sherry has a middle name. It's
Yes,
Moon.
but that's why my brain did that, I think.
It's a hyphenate, really. But I mean, they're all fake names anyway.
But, of course he was going to cast her as like, the main female lead. He always does.
Yeah.
That's about half the reason he makes movies, near as I can tell.
I mean, look, he took 2 whole Halloween movies and went, you know what? Let's cast a young person.
And then
That's 2 whole movies.
And I was surprised both times. And now he's
but like,
back. And she's a good actress. Y'all hate.
Yeah, on the other hand, like, look, I could see if this were Morticia Addams we're talking about.
That would be that would be miscast. That would
It
be
would be.
miscasting.
She's
not got the right vibe.
No.
She's not regal enough.
Right. And this is me loving the Munsters. Like, I like the Munsters more than the Addams Family, classically speaking. So, whatever. Jeff Daniel Phillips, I probably could have seen that. He's a funny guy that Rob likes to put in roles.
Yeah. Like, the only thing that would have been less surprising is if it was literally Bill Moseley.
He's not Munstery enough. And he's got such an iconic voice that's not Herman. However, genius casting, Dan Roebuck as Grandpa Munster. Man, like, that made my morning. I woke up and saw that shit and was like, yeah, perfect, 100%, good job, fund it, didn't even consider it, you brilliant motherfucker, you.
Like, this is mostly your hype, because as you could tell from the fact that I didn't know the lady's name, I don't know fuck from the Munsters. I know there's a Munster Mobile. I know one of them's a Frankenstein, and I'm pretty sure the kid's a Wolfman.
Yeah.
That's what I got. Grandpa Munster's name I know because he's Grandpa.
They also have their unfortunate cousin Marilyn, who
is normal,
yes.
Right? That was the one good bit from the show that I remember.
It was a pretty good bit, yeah. Dan Roebuck, for those who might not know him and why I'm hyped for him, he's been in a bit part in a bunch of shit. He's a great actor with a lot of range. But I am thinking specifically of the Teenage Rock God video Rob Zombie did. And Dan Roebuck plays Satan in that video.
Oh, Lord. That guy?
Yes.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's just perfect.
Well, now I'm hyped for the movie.
I know, right?
That's so good.
It's so good. So, yeah. But most of y'all out there don't care about this shit. And there's not that much to tell. The house looks great otherwise. Let's roll swiftly along. We were going to do a full podcast about Shang-Chi.
Then we realized that we don't have enough to say about Shang-Chi to do a full podcast about Shang-Chi.
I mean, this is even going to be a more stripped-down version because, like, what is there to say? But
it's a good movie.
Yeah, and we didn't have to, like, have a call to action. Not that our audience is huge, but, like, with Suicide Squad 2 and, well, the Suicide Squad, whatever the fuck it was called. The recent one, you know what I'm talking about. And a bunch of other movies.
We wanted you guys to go to the theaters because they weren't doing super well. Shang-Chi blew away box office records and won all the money, so it didn't need our tiny, tiny help. So we let it sit, and it's been a couple weeks since we saw the movie at this point. It's good. It's a good MCU movie. It's, I would say, like, mid-Captain America movie to, like, mid-Iron Man movie tier. Not, like, the top tier of MCU movies, but, like, certainly holds its own.
It's in the upper mid-card.
Yeah, the upper mid-card. It's going for the icy title of MCU movies.
Yes, I would say that. It's very tropey, but the tropes it uses, it does really well. The fight scenes are really well choreographed.
I got to see an MCU movie with fucking Shredder in it.
Oh my god, yeah. That
Dude,
was just...
like...
Tony Leung's announcement, I was hyped for that since I heard it. And
Tony Leung's, his role is perfect.
Yeah.
Like, he does an amazing job in it, and it's a storyline I already like. The tropes in it are I'm really fond of them. All the fight scenes are super fucking cool, and I'm pretty happy about that. The implementation of the 10 Rings of Power is very different from the comics, but I don't dislike it. It's new and interesting.
Yeah. And I really like the way they blended all of the various origins and side characters for Shang-Chi into this new...
Yeah, it's very much... It's more of an adaptation than a lot of Marvel properties. And they normally are willing to do some severe adaptation change and distillation. They had to really change some shit with Shang-Chi because... Well, if we're being honest, if they didn't change some shit, it wouldn't have come across very well. Yeah. Some of that material didn't age the best.
There's a lot of stuff around Fu Manchu, and I think it's better if we just do something different.
So I'm glad about all the changes they made. It looked really cool. It had a lot of like cool Yao Guai in it, and those are great.
Yeah, I'm glad we caught it in theaters too.
I'm very glad I got to see all that shit in theaters with the big spectacle and the big shiny explosions.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the sequel. I'm excited to see how Shang-Chi fits into the new Marvel canon, into the new roster. Wong, spoilers for Shang-Chi, Wong is in it in a couple bit places, and he, as always, is a fucking delight.
I feel like Wong is the new Nick Fury.
That would be, and that's great.
I mean, maybe not literally, but in terms of like narrative.
Yeah, he's the guy who's bringing everybody together. And it's easier for him because he has magic portals, and Nick Fury's tired and old and in space.
I think that's all the new news that we have. Is that correct?
I can't think of anything else.
So otherwise, we're going to play a little bit of catch up, and I know I've got a lot of stuff to talk about because I've been doing a lot of stuff, whether for good or for ill. Why don't you tell us about what you've been busying yourself with lately, man? It's been a long time since we just sat down and kind of caught up here on the podcast.
Well, I haven't been doing much in the way of like new shit that I could explain to you people. I've been playing recently a lot of Dark Souls 3 because it's a great way to pass the time. after work, working my day job. That's not something I talk about on the podcast.
No.
And I haven't even really gotten into any like new series or anything. I will say one big departure for me is that I have not watched a single episode of Marvel's What If, and I can't bring myself to do so. Don't much give a shit. Did give a shit, and then like I don't know, it just didn't.
You watched a new series Saturday, didn't you?
Oh yes,
yeah.
but I can't talk about it because you haven't seen it.
Spoilers, and there's no real way to talk about it.
No, I watched Squid Game. If you have watched Squid Game, you understand why I can't really talk about Squid Game because White hasn't, and I would like for him to watch it at some point. So like if that's going to happen, spoilers shouldn't be something he has.
Sure. What do you think about Squid Game?
Oh, it's very good. It's very... This is going to sound a little weird, maybe, but of the material from that culture, which is more than you might think, that I have absorbed, it's very Korean. Really? It reinforces a lot of tropes that you see in Korean media. Like, just the various anxieties and, like, cultural pressures that you see repeated in, like, manhwa and, like... their pop culture and their music and all that stuff. It does a really good job with it, and the pop cultural response to it has been the most hilariously ironic thing that I have seen in a long time.
Cool. How has your Dark Souls been going? You're like on New Game Plus 8 now or something? Actually, you know what? This is a fun time to mention this. If you watch the podcast, I'm not sure, there's a regular viewer in White's Twitch channel. His name is Ejohns. He may watch the podcast, he may not, I don't know. He said, offhandedly, that he didn't think a ranged build in Dark Souls could work. So I was like, no, I think it can. So I opened up Dark Souls 3 and I made an archer build, and it's working really well. While I was streaming, because of that, I actually went more sorcery than I was planning on. And I found... the combo of using basically your invisibility setup with the rings and all that shit. I don't have the words in front of me, so I couldn't tell you. And then I would drop the mist and like vanish again, and the enemies would just stand in my mist and die. And God, that was broken.
The range build works just fine. It's honestly one of the most mechanically effective builds I've made for Dark Souls 3. Because I am playing 3, because it's the one I generally play. I don't know that I'd go back to 1. I like the mechanics in 3 more.
Now, you have had to use a sword for a couple things, right?
Well, see, what I'm doing is essentially I am playing a build that is based off a D&D character I've played.
Right. Where
the main weapon is the bow, but if we must use the sword, we use the sword. Because sometimes you gotta use a sword. You can just use a bow. Like, you can beat Dark Souls 3 effectively, all the bosses, with just a bow. But I'm not that good, and I am running rapidly up to the mechanical limit of what my hands can do, so I'm not going to get that good. So I do have to occasionally switch to the sword, which I already know how to use.
Right.
But it is definitely possible to just beat it with only a bow. There were times when I know if I had run like 10, 12 more runs, because I'm bad at Dark Souls, and a boss, I'd be able to beat it with just the bow. Or I could whip out the sword and beat them now.
That's kind of how I view summoning, is like most bosses I've beaten without summoning already once. I don't feel the need to. And I mean, that's the thing.
Some of them are just more fun.
Yeah.
Like Twin Princes is just more fun with bros.
It's a party, man. I usually, when I get Twin Princes level when I play a new game, I just sit there for a while and like run.
I try and always make sure I have someone to summon. I think this most recent time, I didn't end up summoning anyone because there was nobody there, and I was tired of waiting, so I ended up having to do it myself, like fucking Thanos style. But I really like summoning people for Twin Princes because it's just more fun that way. But as far as leisure time, I read a lot of fan fiction, which I don't really talk about on the podcast, because boy howdy does that require a lot of context.
I think even without context, the Linkara rule applies.
I don't know what that is.
He doesn't, until he started doing Patreon reviews, he wouldn't review fanfic and fan comics and webcomics because it's free content being put out there on the internet with no expectation of sales. The quality doesn't matter. I mean, like it does to the reader, but in terms of being criticized as a piece of saleable media...
Yeah, it's not, like, the rules are different.
Yes.
Like, if I put the same critical eye towards some of the fan fiction I read as to, like, books I read or, like, movies I watch, I would be a dickhead. So, like, that would make me an asshole.
It would be like if you went into the comments of a YouTube video and said mean things to the person who put out this free YouTube video for you.
But we'll go ahead and say the mean things in the comments. It's all engagement. We win either way.
Yeah, honestly.
You can't win.
I mean, the more money you give me on Patreon, the more you can treat me poorly.
That's not true.
Yeah, it totally is. I don't care.
Oh, but what? You got a lot of stuff to say.
Those are going to be my new reward thresholds. How mean you can be to me for what price?
You're just going to become the internet equivalent of like a guy with a sign, you can punch me for $1.
I have 5.
But yeah.
Fucking inflation, man.
You got stuff to say. You've been doing stuff.
I've been up to shit. Well, like, you guys follow me on Twitch. If you don't, you should. Because I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. And now that I make money off of my ads, that's probably going to increase. But,
and again, Twitch Prime. Doesn't cost you anything. Takes money from Bezos.
Yep. I played a little bit of Hades, and I think the first run of Hades I beat on Twitch. But most of it I played away from Twitch on my Xbox. And I was really surprised by how amazingly good that game was. Because it is like 9 things in a video game I don't care for.
Yeah, this is not the kind of game I would have expected you to like, and you really liked it.
I did really like it. It is buoyed a lot, and I'm not saying anything new. This game's already several years old. The fandom has left Hades. They've moved on to other interpretations of Greek myth. But they really support it with good characters, good interactions. They keep the stuff in the dungeons fresh. It's all procedurally generated, but none of it is stupid.
Which is hard to do. It is hard to get something to be procedurally generated and not occasionally shit.
Yeah. I think there was only one time I actually got pissed off at the game, and that was the first time I got the fishing rod, because I was just fucked. I didn't get any good boons, and the whole time I've got this fucking fishing rod. And it's doing nothing for me but giving me fish.
He was so amusingly pissed off.
I was raging, man. But yeah, I beat it 10 times. I got the ending. I have only won like 1 or 2 runs since then, and I've basically put it down. I don't know if I'll pick it back up again, but I had a lot of fun with that. I've been in a download frenzy for first-person shooter games because I felt like playing a first-person shooter game, and it feels like there was one I was playing for a while, and it was really good, but all the evidence of that has been shredded. So I'm looking for something else to move on to, and I was really excited for Back 4 Blood, and really disappointed that it was like all voice chat and power-up cards and shit like that. Now,
you gonna do the cards rant? Is it time for the cards rant?
I just don't like it. Like, in the moment when I discover it, like, when you're fucking going into a game and you pick up the next rock of what do I do in this
tutorial
game,
content,
and under it is a fucking MTG sealed box set, I feel like hitting myself with that rock.
You're just not a guy who likes the joy of opening up some cardboard cocaine.
I like loot boxes just fine. It's extra is what bugs me. Like, it's that they're cards. I don't know why you had to go to this extra mile to be like, no, but it's also a deck builder. Shut the fuck up. Just let me have abilities. Let me put skill points places.
So, like, if they changed nothing else and just didn't use the word cards, it'd be okay?
It would be better than it should. If they came in just like images with descriptions and not in a fucking card format.
All right. But what if they didn't? What if they put them in the format, but they didn't call them cards? What if the only change is they just don't use the word cards?
I would narrow my eyes and make my mouth a line and go, But
it would still be acceptable?
It would be better. I don't know. It depends on the game. But it got so frustrating because the last time I was like looking into first person shooters, I guess it's one of those things like how parents lose their kids in a mall. They're like sitting there playing with the toys in the toy aisle at wherever, and they're like, okay, cool, they're doing that. I can look over here at, I don't know, fucking vintage Hallmark Precious Moments collectible bobblehead Praise Jesus minifigs. And then they look back and the kid's fucking gone. I feel like that's what happened with first-person shooters. There was like a billion of them. They were all very popular. They were all pretty good to play. Some were a little crunchier than others. And then I turned around and I was looking at RPGs for a minute, and I looked back and they're gone.
They're there. They're just covered in RPG sauce.
They're covered in RPG sauce and mechanical gambling. What I hate more about the cards is that a lot of them are mechanical. I don't give a shit about, like... Skins, yeah. Apex Legends is a fine game.
Cosmetics is fine for gambling, but if you have to gamble on actually being able to be better at the game, like mechanically better than people who are less lucky, or more accurately less whaley than you, that is bad.
Yeah.
That seems like an uncontroversial statement.
No, yeah, violently uncontroversial.
That is not a cold take, but it's not a hot one either.
No. Just being confronted with it so repeatedly. Now, there are games. There are plenty of games on PC. Titanfall 2, I'd have to reinstall it because of the Titanfalling, but I liked that game. Apex Legends on PC plays just fine. I am not good enough to be there.
That's the reason I don't play multiplayer shooters anymore. I'm dumb and slow. And I say that. I've gotten so good at Dark Souls, I still think I would just completely suck at any first-person shooter.
I would be okay with sucking. I just want to get in somewhere and kill some guys. You know, just shoot the gun. Have the visceral satisfaction.
You want a shooter that you can load up, drop into a game, maybe play like some point control.
Sure.
Or, maybe play push the cart. And like just, have some fun, maybe make a squad of people. Like you pick a character and they have to pick other characters that maybe have predefined roles, that, maybe some light abilities, but like nothing, everybody has the same characters available to them and they all have the same abilities. It's just too bad there's no game like that.
I mean, there is Paladins, a completely original game, but it's bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
The tutorial fairy was like flying around the screen and not in the way you would expect a fairy to. I know a broken rig when I see one.
Yeah, but there's just no other games like that.
It's just baffling. It seems like such a... Well, there was... what was that game with the mushroom guy? Battleborn?
Battleborn.
Yeah, but that went under for undisclosed reasons, so... It exists only as Rock Band skins now.
Look, I know we're doing a bit, but that was some fucking... That is a powerful... It exists only as Rock Band skins now. The legends of the past of our ancestors.
I've been doing a bunch of other stuff, playing a bunch of other games. It's been up and down and back and forth and all that shit. Trying things out, experimenting, having a good time. And recording podcasts for you lovely people. People who could be lovelier by paying me monthly money.
Everything's better when nerds talk about it.